Welcome to April's Scream Vlog. In today's video, pag-usapan po natin kung anong pagkakaiba ng principal, accomplice, at accessories as well as the classification of felonies according to gravity and the different penalties ng mga criminal offenders under our criminal law, particularly on the revised penal code. Ang video pala nito ay already part 2 ng ating discussion on the Criminal Law Book 1 na nakabase sa bagong table of specification for the Criminology Board exam. Nakalagay ko sa description area ang link ng ating video sa part 1 of the Criminal Law Book 1 based on the Criminology New TOS. Pero bago tayo magsimula sa ating lesson ngayon, nais ko munang i-share ang ating verse of the day. Proverbs 3 verse 5. With all your heart, you must trust the Lord and not your own judgment. Always let Him lead you and He will clear the road for you to follow. In the commission of the crime, if there are more than one participants who committed the crime, we need to classify the degree of participation of each participants to determine their corresponding penalties. In this regard, meron tayong tinatawag na principal, accomplice, at accessories. Itong mga classification ay ginagamit lamang if the crime committed is a felony or a violation of the RPC. And generally, hindi po ito ginagamit sa mga special law. Ang unang classification po natin ay ang principal. And we have three kinds of principal. Meron po tayong principal by direct participation, principal by inducement, at principal by indispensable cooperation. According to the Article 17 of the Revised Penal Code, ang principal by direct participation are those who take a direct part in the execution of the crime. Sila mismo ang nasa crime scene. Kung sa crime of rape, sila mismo ang nag-rape. Kung sa crime of murder, sila mismo ang pumatay. And sa crime of theft, sila mismo ang nagnakaw. Halimbawa, Alpha induced Bravo to kill Charlie in exchange of a reward. So, Bravo killed Charlie. Si Bravo na pumatay kay Charlie ay siya yung principal by direct participation at si Alpha naman na nag-induce kay Bravo ay siya yung principal by inducement. Ano ba kasi ang principal by inducement? Ang principal by inducement naman are those who directly force or induce others to commit the crime. Itong principal by inducement ay sila yung tinatawag natin na mastermind. Sila ang may first-hand idea or may original na plano to commit the crime. Kung hindi sana pinilit ni principal by inducement si principal by direct participation na gawin ang krimen, then the crime would not have been committed. Pero kahit itong si principal by inducement induce others to commit the crime, if itong si principal by direct participation ay hindi pa rin niya ginawa ang krimen, then si principal by inducement ay hindi liable kasi nga there is no crime committed. Magiging liable lang itong si principal by inducement if the principal by direct participation committed the crime. Now, meron pong dalawang paraan si principal by inducement to induce others to commit the crime. Number 1 po ay by means of price, reward, or promise. And number 2 po ay by means of irresistible force or uncontrollable fear. Pag sinabi nating irresistible force, mga kapatid, ay ito yung paggamit ng principal by induction ng violence or physical force to compel the other person to commit the crime. Pag sinabi naman nating uncontrollable fear, ito naman yung paggamit ng inductor ng threat or intimidation to compel the other person to commit the crime. Halimbawa, Mr. X threatened to kill the child of Mr. Y immediately kung hindi papatayin ni Mr. Y si Mr. Z. Dahil dito, Mr. Y killed Mr. Z. Dito sa halimbawa natin, si Mr. X is liable as a principal, pero si Mr. Y ay pwedeng ma-exempt ang kanyang criminal liability. I-expound po natin ito pagdating natin sa exempting circumstances na topic. Next, ang principal by indispensable cooperation naman are those who cooperate in the commission of the crime by another act without which the crime would not have been committed. Ang principal by indispensable cooperation ay sila naman yung tumulong kay principal by direct participation upang makomit yung crime na kung wala yung tulong nila, hindi magagawa ni principal by direct participation ang krimen. But take note, na si principal by indispensable cooperation ay alam niya yung evil intent ni principal by direct participation and yet she still perform another act na kung wala ito, the crime would not have been committed. Take note na yung participation ni principal by indispensable cooperation must be indispensable and must not be the act na ginawa rin ni principal by direct participation. Halimbawa, si A inudyok niya si B na patayin si C kapalit ng 800,000. Ngayon, ang problema, si C ay nakatira sa isang isla at meron lang isang bangka na bumabiyahe back and forth sa isla na yan at yan ay inoperate ni D na nagkataong kaibigang pinakamatalik ni B. Dahil pinagkakatiwalaan ni B, si D, nabanggit niya ang plano niyang pagpatay kay C. Ngayon, despite na alam ni D ang plano ni B na pagpatay kay C, ibinyahe pa rin ni D si B papunta sa kinaroroonan ni C. At pagdating ni B sa isla na kinaroroonan ni C, B immediately killed C. Sa halimbawa natin, si B ay principal by direct participation. Si A naman ay principal by inducement. Si D naman ay principal by indispensable cooperation. Kasi nga, kung hindi niya hinatid si B sa kinaroroonan ni C gamit ng kanyang bangka, hindi sana napatay ni B si C. Ang next classification po ng ating mga offenders ay ang accomplices. According to Article 18 of the RPC, accomplices are those persons who, not being included in Article 17, cooperate in the execution of the crime by means of previous or simultaneous act. In simple words, si accomplice po ay tumulong kay principal by direct participation in the execution of the crime. But take note na yung participation ni accomplice is not indispensable nor his acts could not be tantamount sa acts na ginawa ni principal by direct participation. Take note po na si accomplice ay hindi co-conspirator kay principal. Ibig sabihin, wala pong nangyaring conspiracy or walang nangyaring pagplano between kay principal at si accomplice. Si principal lang po ang may original na plano na mag-commit ng krimen, but the accomplice only concurs during the commission of the crime. And yung participation ng accomplice must be by previous or simultaneous act. Halimbawa po, si A sinaksak niya si B. Ngayon, ang ginawa ni C, niyakap niya si B para hindi ito makaganti kay A. Then A continued to stab B and B died as a result. Dito sa halimbawa natin, si A is liable as a principal and si C po is liable as an accomplice. Although hindi po siya yung dahilan ng pagkamatay ni B, he did not prevented A from continuously stabbing B when he acquired knowledge of the intent of A to kill B. Meron pong dalawang paraan si accomplice to acquire knowledge of the criminal designs ni principal. Una po, kapag sinabi po ni principal kay accomplice ang kanyang criminal purpose or evil plan. Pangalawa po, kahit na hindi naman po sinabi ni principal kay accomplice ang kanyang plano, kapag nakita po ni accomplice ang acts ni principal, ibig sabihin po, nagkaroon na po ng knowledge si accomplice sa criminal design ni principal. Take note po na ang penalty ni accomplice is 1 degree lower than the penalty of the principal. So, ibig sabihin, kapag reclusion temporal ang penalty ni principal, ang penalty po na accomplice ay prison mayor. Ang last classification po ng ating offenders ay ang accessories po. Kung ang participation ni na principal at accomplice ay before or during the execution of the crime, ang participation naman po ni accessories ay after the commission of the crime. Take note po, para maging liable po si accessories, kailangan alam niya po niya na yung principal committed and consummated the crime and still he cooperated or performs an act which is punishable by the RPC. According to Article 19 of the RPC, accessories are those who, having knowledge of the commission of the crime and without participated therein either as principal or accomplices, take part subsequent to its commission in any of the three following manners. Una po ay by profiting themselves or assisting the offenders to profit by the effects of the crime. Magiging liable daw as an accessory ang isang tao kapag kumita siya or tinulungan niya ang offender na kumita sa crime na ginawa rin ng offender. Halimbawa po nito, kapag may nagtitinda sa'yo ng cellphone at alam mong galing nakaw ito and yet binili mo at ginamit mo yung cellphone na yan, you can be liable as an accessory to the crime of theft. Bakit? Kasi you benefited from the theft na ginawa ng offender. Pero take note po na ang pagbili sa mga bagay na alam mong galing nakaw constitute the crime of PD 1612 or the Anti-Fencing Law of 1979. At ito po ay may mas mabigat na parusa kaysa sa accessory in the crime of theft. Kasi ang mga taong bumili sa alam nilang galing nakaw ay principally punishable in the crime of PD 1612. Ang pangalawang acts of accessory po natin ay by concealing or destroying the body of the crime or the effects or instrument thereof in order to prevent its discovery. Sa manner na ito, kapag sinabi po nating body of the crime, hindi po ibig sabihin nito na yung body ng biktima sa crime scene. Sa Latin, this refers sa corpus delicti or yung mga bagay na magpapatunay na may crime na nangyari. Halimbawa po, Albert killed Ben by shooting him. Then itong si Charlie naglagay ng baril sa kamay ni Ben. Dito, si Charlie is liable as an accessory because yung kanyang acts na paglagay ng baril sa kamay ni Ben destroys the body of the crime and conceals the fact that happened in the crime scene. Next, ang last manner sa acts of accessories natin ay by harboring, concealing, or assisting in the escape of the principals of the crime provided the accessory acts with abuse of his public functions or whenever the author of the crime is guilty of treason, parricide, murder, or an attempt to take the life of chief executive or is known to be habitually guilty of some other crime. Sa manner year na ito, meron po tayong dalawang klase ng accessories. Una po ay public officer at pangalawa po ay private person or civilian. Itong si public officer, para maging liable siya as an accessory to the crime, kailangan ginamit niya ang kanyang public function para tulungan na tumakas ang principal ng any crime na hindi light felony. Kasi kapag light felony ang kaso ng principal na itinago or tinulungan ni accessory na tumakas, si accessory ay hindi liable dito sa paragraph 3 of the Article 19. Ibig sabihin pala, kailangan ang kaso ng taong tinulungan ni public officer na tumakas ay limited lamang sa grave felony at less grave felony. Pagdating naman po sa private person or civilian, specified po ang crime committed ng principal na itinago or tinulungang tumakas ni private person. At ang mga crime na ito ay limited lamang sa treason, parricide, murder, or an attempt to take the life of chief executive. If other crimes po ang crime na ginawa ng taong itinago or tinulungang tumakas ni private person, si private person ay hindi po liable dito as an accessory sa Article 19. Pero kapag ang taong tinulungang tumakas ni private person ay habitually guilty of some other crime at alam po ito ni private person, si private person po ay liable pa rin dito sa Article 19 of the RPC. Ibig sabihin po ng habitually guilty of some other crime, ang taong tinulungang tumakas ni private person po ay previously punished of 3 times or more sa specific crime. Then take note na ang penalty na accessories ay lesser ng 2 degrees sa penalty ni principal. Halimbawa, kung ang penalty ni principal ay prison mayor, then ang penalty na accessories ay arresto mayor. Pero take note na ang mga taong tumulong sa pagtakas ng mga nag-commit ng crime, aside na liable sila dito sa paragraph 3 of the Article 19 of RPC, may mas mabigat pa silang kaso. Yan ang PD 1829 or the obstruction of justice. Ang PD 1829 penalizes the obstruction of the apprehension and prosecution ng mga criminal offenders. At under Section 1 ng batas na ito, pinaparusahan nito ang act of harboring, concealing, or facilitating the escape of any person he knows na nakapag-commit ng crime under existing penal laws in order to prevent his arrest, prosecution, or conviction. Sa PD 1829, kahit sinong tao, public officer man or civilian, basta tumulong sa pagtakas ng mga taong nag-commit ng crime, sila ay liable sa batas na ito. Take note na pagdating sa classification of the degree of participation ng mga criminal offenders, importante na walang nangyaring conspiracy between kina principal, accomplice, at accessories. If there are more than one offenders na gumawa sa krimen, and based from their acts, we can establish na meron silang conspiracy because they acted with unity of purpose or meron silang iisang criminal resolution. In that case, we don't need anymore to classify kung sino sa kanila ang principal, accomplice, at accessories. Kasi since na meron silang conspiracy, ang kanilang criminal liability ay pare-parehas. Kanina, nabanggit natin ang grave felonies, less grave felonies, at light felonies. Ito po yung mga classification of felonies according to gravity. At pag sinabi natin gravity of a felony, this is determined by the penalties attached to them. According to Article 9 of the RPC, ang grave felonies are those to which the law attaches the capital punishment or penalties which in any of their periods are afflictive in accordance with Article 25 of the Revised Penal Code. Sa Article 25 of the Revised Penal Code natin makikita ang iba't ibang penalties. Ang capital punishment po natin ay death penalty, but this one is still suspended by Republic Act 9346. At kapag sinabi naman nating afflictive penalty, ito po yung mga imprisonment na may duration na magsisimula sa 6 years and 1 day up to 40 years. Ito po yung reclusion perpetua, reclusion temporal, at prison mayor. Kapag isa sa mga iyan ang penalty ng isang felony, ang felony na yan ay matatawag na grave felony. Ang less grave felonies naman are those which the law punishes with penalties which in their maximum period are correctional. Pag sinabi natin correctional penalty, ito po yung mga imprisonment na may duration of 1 month and 1 day up to 6 years. Halimbawa po nito ay ang prison correctional at arresto mayor. Kapag isa sa mga iyan ang penalty ng isang felony, then ang felony na yan ay matawag na less grave felony. Ang light felony naman are those infractions of law for the commission of which the penalty of arresto menor or a fine not exceeding 40,000 pesos or both is provided. Dati, ang fine para sa light felony are not exceeding 200 pesos. Pero ang value of money na yan ay nakabase pa noong 1930 noong ginawa ang Revised Penal Code. Kaya inamend na po yan ng RA 10951 at ginawang not exceeding 40,000 pesos ang fine para sa light felony. Pero take note na under Article 9 as amended by RA 10951, ang fine po of exactly 40,000 pesos is a light felony. Pero under Article 26 as amended by RA 10951, a penalty of a exactly 40,000 pesos as a fine is considered a correctional penalty, whether this is imposed as a single penalty or as an alternative penalty. Kapag sinabi po nating penalty, ibig sabihin po nito is a suffering that is inflicted by the state for the transgression of law. In its general sense, this signifies pain, pero dapat mag-base pa rin ito sa moral rightfulness of the punishment. Ang penalties po natin can be classified as a principal penalty and as an accessory penalty. Ang principal penalties are those that are imposed by the court in a judgment upon conviction ni criminal offender. Ano-ano ba ang mga principal penalties natin according to gravity? Sa Article 25, makikita natin dito ang mga principal penalties according to gravity. Ito po yung capital punishment, afflictive penalty, correctional penalty, at light penalty. Ang capital punishment po natin ay death penalty. Pero sabi ko nga kanina, ang death penalty is still prohibited by RA 9346 kasi ang death penalty ay considered na barbaric punishment, kaya this should be prohibited kasi nasa age of enlightenment na tayo. Under Section 2 of the RA 9346, kapag ang isang felony ay punishable by death, the penalty to be imposed is reclusion perpetua. Ang pangalawang klase ng principal penalties natin ay ang afflictive penalties. Ang afflictive penalties natin ay reclusion perpetua, reclusion temporal, perpetual or temporary absolute disqualification, perpetual or temporary special disqualification, at prison major. Ang reclusion perpetua po ay imprisonment na may duration of 20 years and 1 day to 40 years. Ang reclusion temporal naman ay imprisonment na may duration of 12 years and 1 day to 20 years. Ang perpetual disqualification naman is a lifetime penalty ng pagka-disqualify ng offender sa public office, profession, or calling. Ang temporary disqualification as a principal penalty naman is a disqualification ng offender to a public office, profession, or calling within 6 years and 1 day to 12 years. Ang prison major naman is a imprisonment na may duration of 6 years and 1 day to 12 years. Ang next na principal penalties po natin ay ang correctional penalties. Ito naman po yung prison correctional, arresto mayor, suspension, at dischero. Ang prison correctional ay imprisonment na may duration of 6 months and 1 day to 6 years. Then, ang arresto mayor naman ay imprisonment din na may duration of 1 month and 1 day to 6 months. Ang suspension naman as a principal penalty ay suspended or disqualified ang offender to a public office, profession, or calling and exercising of the right of suffrage within 6 months and 1 day to 6 years. Pag sinabi nating suffrage, ito po yung karapatan natin na bumoto ng mga kandidato sa eleksyon at magpaboto bilang isang kandidato din ng eleksyon. At ang privilege na yan are being withholded kapag nasentensyahan ang isang offender. Ang dischero po ay ito po yung mga penalty na ini-impose ng court sa mga nakapag-commit ng death or serious physical injury under exceptional circumstances of the Article 247 of the Revised Penal Code. Ito din po yung penalty ng concubine sa crime of concubinage at ito din po yung penalty ng mga nakasuhan ng failure to give bond for good behavior. At any person na nasentensyahan ng dischero ay bawal silang lumapit sa place or places designated in their sentence of a radius not less than 25 km nor more than 250 kilometers. Kapag lumapit sila sa place kung saan sila ay restricted of less than 25 kilometers, ang kaso po nila ay evasion of service of sentence. Pero kapag lumayo naman sila ng more than 250 kilometers, wala po silang kaso. Ang light penalties naman ay composed of arresto menor and public censure. Ang arresto menor ay imprisonment na may duration ng 1 day to 30 days. At ang public censure naman na ito ay ito po yung pagre-reprehend or pagre-reprimand ng court sa mga acts or conduct ng offender na hindi katanggap-tanggap sa mata ng publiko. Ang mga principal penalties according to divisibility ay pwedeng maging divisible penalties at indivisible penalties. Kapag sinabi nating indivisible penalties, ito po yung mga penalties na walang fixed duration. Ito po yung death, reclusion perpetua, perpetual, absolute, or special disqualification at public censure. Ang divisible penalties naman ay ito po yung mga may fixed duration. And divided po sila into 3 equal periods of minimum, medium, and maximum. From reclusion perpetua down to arresto menor ay meron sila kanya-kanyang minimum, medium, at maximum period of penalties. Next, accessory penalties naman po tayo. Ang accessory penalties are those that are deemed included in the imposition of principal penalties. Ibig sabihin, kapag nasentensyahan ng principal penalty ang isang offender, automatic nakasama na po ang mga accessory penalties. Ang mga accessory penalties po natin ay, una po ay perpetual or temporary absolute disqualification, pangalawa, perpetual or temporary special disqualification, suspension from public office, profession, or calling and the right of suffrage. Next is civil interdiction, indemnification, forfeiture, or confiscation of the proceeds of the crime, and lastly is the payment of cost. Take note, ang perpetual or temporary absolute disqualification as well as the perpetual or temporary special disqualification and suspension ay pwedeng maging principal penalties. In that case, na-discuss na natin kanina ang kanilang duration. Pero when they are imposed as an accessory penalties, ang kanilang duration ay parehas sa principal penalties kung saan sila naka-attach. Halimbawa, si Mr. A committed the crime of homicide at nasentensyahan siya ng reclusion temporal. Automatic na sa reclusion temporal na sentensya niya ay nakatat sa dyan ang temporary disqualification. In that case, ang duration po ng temporary disqualification ay parehas sa reclusion temporal. Again, itong mga accessory penalties ay sila po yung naka-attach sa mga principal penalties. At ang duration ng mga accessory penalties na yan ay parehas sa duration ng principal penalties kung saan sila naka-attach. Next, meron din tayong tinatawag na temporary penalties. Ito po yung temporary absolute disqualification, temporary special disqualification, at suspension. Ano po ba ang effect nito when a penalty is imposed by the court to a criminal offender? Kapag may penalty ang offender na perpetual or temporary absolute disqualification, ang offender dito ay disqualified at madedeprive siya to a public office and public employments, mawawala yung kanyang right to vote and to be voted upon, at mawawala din yung kanyang right to a retirement pay at pension sa offices na pinagtrabahuan niya. Next, ang perpetual or temporary special disqualification for public office naman, ganun din. The offender dito is deprived to hold a public office and public employment at hindi rin niya ma-exercise yung kanyang profession or calling. Ang perpetual or temporary special disqualification for the right of suffrage naman, ang offender is deprived to vote or to be voted upon and hindi rin siya pwedeng mag-hold ng public office during the period of his sentence. Next, sa suspension po naman, disqualified ang offender to a such office or similar offices and public employments and hindi rin niya ma-exercise yung kanyang profession or calling. Kaya kung mapapansin nyo, kapag nag-a-apply po tayo ng trabaho, meron po tayong requirements na NBI clearance or police clearance to check kung nakapag-commit po tayo ng crime or hindi. Meron din tayong tinatawag na civil interdiction sa accessory penalty. Ito naman na kapag nakulong ka, matatanggal yung rights of parental authority mo or guardianship of any ward. Hindi mo maalagaan yung mga anak mo, pati na rin si Mrs. or Mr. mo kasi kasama na mawawala ang right of marital authority mo. At mawawala din yung right mo to manage your property. Kapag nakakulong ang isang offender sa detention facility, pwede po siyang mag-undergo ng preventive imprisonment. Ang preventive imprisonment ay ito yung pagdeduct ng 4/5 or full time ng period of kanyang detention sa detention facility sa kanyang sentensya ng final judgment. Mangyayari ito kapag si offender ay nakakulong sa detention facility while awaiting trial or final judgment ng non-bailable crime or even if bailable, walang kakayahan si offender to furnish bail. Kapag si offender ay pumayag voluntarily in writing na ang treatment sa kanya ay same sa mga treatment sa convicted offenders, ang ibabawas sa kanyang sentensya sa final judgment ay full-time ng kanyang preventive imprisonment. Halimbawa, kapag si offender ay may sentensya na 8 years at nag-undergo siya ng 5 years na preventive imprisonment. So meaning, ibabawas sa 8 years na sentensya na yung 5 years na pag-undergo niya sa preventive imprisonment. So ibig sabihin, 3 years na lamang ang isi-serve ni offender na sentensya na sa penitentiary. Pero kapag si offender ay hindi naman pumayag na i-treat siya bilang convicted offenders, only 4/5 ng kanyang preventive imprisonment ang ibabawas sa kanyang sentensya sa final judgment. So sa halimbawa natin kanina, kapag si offender ay may sentensya na 8 years of imprisonment at nag-undergo siya ng 5 years na preventive imprisonment, ilan po ang ibabawas sa kanyang sentensya na 8 years? So, ang 4/5 po ng 5 is 4. So, only 4 years ang ibabawas sa 8 years. So, ibig sabihin, meron pa siyang 4 years na isa-serve sa penitentiary po. Ngayon, paano kung ang maximum penalty ng offender sa crime na ginawa niya ay 6 years? At nakapag-undergo na siya ng preventive imprisonment na 6 years and 5 months. In that case, si offender ay kailangang i-release immediately without prejudice sa continuation ng kanyang trial. Kasi po, ang role sa preventive imprisonment, kapag nakapag-serve na si offender ng equal or more than sa maximum penalty ng crime na ginawa niya, he must be released immediately. Kapag naman desyero ang penalty ng offender, he will be released after 30 days of preventive imprisonment. And take note na ang preventive imprisonment ay hindi po mag-a-apply sa mga recidivists or those who previously convicted twice or more of any crime and those who failed to surrender voluntarily when they are being summoned to serve their sentence. Next, meron tayong tinatawag na classification of penalties according to subject matter. Meron po tayong tinatawag na corporal punishment, which is the death penalty. Meron din tayong tinatawag na deprivation of freedom, which is the reclusion perpetua, reclusion temporal, prison mayor, prison correctional, arresto mayor, at arresto menor. Then meron din tayong tinatawag na restriction of freedom, and this is the dischero. itself. And we have also the deprivation of rights, which is the perpetual or temporary absolute disqualification, perpetual or temporary special disqualification at suspension. And lastly, we have also the so-called pecuniary liability, which is the fine. Ang penalty po natin with regards to fine ay matatagpuan po sa Article 26 of the Revised Penal Code as amended by Republic Act 10951. Ang fine po ay considered afflictive penalty if this is exceeds 1,200,000 pesos. Correctional penalty naman if it does not exceed 1,200,000 pesos but not less than 40,000 pesos. And light penalty naman if it is less than 40,000 pesos. Now, paano po kung wala pong pambayad si offender sa mga fine niya? In case po na walang pambayad si offender sa kanyang mga pecuniary liabilities, meron po tayong tinatawag na order of payment na basehan kung ano po ang dapat uunahin na bayaran ni offender. Ang una po niyang babayaran ay yung reparation of the damage cost. Itong pagbabayad sa reparation of the damage cost ay mangyayari po ito kapag hindi po pwede ang restitution or hindi na pwedeng maibalik ang mga effects of the crime. At common po ito kapag ang crime na nakomit ay crime against properties. Here, the court will determine the amount of the damage plus its sentimental value. Halimbawa sa crime of theft, kung hindi na pwedeng maibalik ang ninakaw kasi naibenta na or nasira na to, the court will determine the actual price of that property stolen plus its sentimental value. Ang next order of payment po natin na babayaran ng offender ay ang indemnification of consequential damage. Sa indemnification of consequential damage, dito babayaran ng offender lahat ng consequential damage suffered by the victim arising from the crime committed by the offender. Halimbawa, kung si Mr. A sinaksak niya si Mr. B at dahil diyan na-hospital si Mr. B ng 10 days at hindi po siya nakapagtrabaho. Lahat ng nagastos ni Mr. B sa ospital, yung doctor's fee niya, yung medicine, and whatever he spent for the treatment of his wound ay babayaran po ni Mr. A. And then babayaran din niya yung sahod ni Mr. B na nawala dahil hindi po siya nakapagtrabaho because of his injuries. Ang indemnification of consequential damage ay common po ito sa mga crime against person. Ang next po na babayaran ng offender sa order of payment ay ang fine at ang panghuli po ay ang cost of proceedings which include the fees and indemnities of the judicial proceeding but discretion po ito ni court. Now tanong, paano po kung walang pambayad si offender sa kanyang fine? In that case, mag-undergo po siya ng tinatawag natin na subsidiary imprisonment. Sa subsidiary imprisonment, kung wala pong pambayad si offender sa kanyang fine, ay kukulong po siya at a certain period of time. So, bawat isang araw na pag-stay niya sa kulungan ay may rate na amounting to the highest minimum wage rate prevailing dito sa Pilipinas at the time of the rendition of his judgment of conviction by the trial court. So, halimbawa, kung si Mr. X ay may fine na 24,500 pesos at ang current highest minimum wage rate prevailing dito sa Pilipinas ay 700 pesos for each day. So, ibig sabihin, yung fine niya na 24,500 pesos ay divide sa 700 pesos for each day na pag-stay niya sa kulungan. So, ang kanyang subsidiary personal liability ay 1 month and 5 days. Yan ang period na mag-i-stay siya sa kulungan at his subsidiary imprisonment. According to Article 39 of the RPC as amended by Republic Act 10951, kapag ang sentensya po ni offender is a prison correctional or arresto and a fine, ang kanyang subsidiary imprisonment ay dapat hindi lalampas sa 1/3 of the term ng kanyang sentence at kailangan hindi rin ito lumampas sa 1 year. Kapag naman ang penalty ng offender is a fine only at ang nakomit niya ay grave or less grave felony, ang kanyang subsidiary imprisonment ay dapat hindi lalampas sa 6 months. Kapag light felony naman ang nakomit ng offender, kailangan ang kanyang subsidiary imprisonment ay hindi lalampas sa 15 days. Take note na ang subsidiary imprisonment ay para lang po sa mga fine. Wala pong subsidiary imprisonment ang other pecuniary liabilities such as the reparation of the damage cost, indemnification of consequential damage, at cost of proceedings. Now, let's proceed to the extinguishment of criminal liability naman. Meron po tayong tinatawag na total extinction of criminal liability and partial extinction of criminal liability. I-discuss po natin kung ano po ang mga ways para ma-total extinguish ang criminal liability. Ang una po ay ang death penalty. Pero pagdating sa pecuniary liability, may extinguish lamang ito if the offender dies before the rendition of the final judgment. Ang pangalawa po ay ang service of sentence. Ang crime po is considered death. At ang criminal liability ay may extinguish lamang if the offender served his sentence as a payment to the crime he committed. Ang next po ay absolute pardon. Ang absolute pardon is an act of grace granted by the President of the Philippines sa mga convicted offender or person deprived of liberty or PDL na eligible dito without any condition attached therein. Ang absolute pardon will erase the effects of the crime and make the offender innocent as he had not committed any crime if these terms will be stated in the terms of pardon. Now take note na ang absolute pardon is granted and and valid only after the conviction of final judgment is surrendered to the offender. At ang iba pang epek nito will restore to the individual his full civil and political rights. Now tanong, pwede bang mag-grant ang victim or offended party ng pardon sa offender nito? The answer is yes, pero ang epekto nito, it will become a bar only for the filing of the case or institution of criminal action, and it will not wipe out the criminal liability of the offender. Kailangan ang victim will pardon the offender before he files the case to the prosecution. Kasi once na ma-file niya yung case kay prosecution, saka lang siya magbigay ng pardon, si prosecutor ay mayroong discretion to continue the prosecution of the case kasi ang crime na ginawa ng offender is a crime against the state. Kung mapapansin nyo, ang title po ng ating kaso ay People of the Philippines versus kung sino yung offender nito. Ang People of the Philippines na yan is referring to the state at si victim is limited lamang as a witness to the crime na ginawa ni offender. But in the crime of rape, abduction, seduction, and acts of lasciviousness, take note na yung marriage ng offended woman kay principal offender will extinguish his criminal liability as well as the civil liability, and it may be extended also kina accomplice at accessories. But in the crime of multiple rape involving two or more principal by direct participation, this principle of the marriage of the offended woman kay principal is not applicable and it will not extinguish the criminal liability ng mga offenders. Ang next total extinction ng criminal liability ay ang amnesty. Ang amnesty po ay tinatawag po na blanket pardon or general pardon extended to a group of prisoners, usually mga political offenders po. And this is generally exercised by the chief executive at kailangan merong concurrence ang Congress na 2/3 votes. Ang amnesty po can be availed during the trial of the case or before or after the final judgment of conviction. Ang amnesty will extinguish the penalty and all its effects sa mga criminal offenders. Ang next way para sa total extinction of criminal liability naman ay ang prescription of crime. Kapag sinabi po nating prescription of crime, this is the loss or forfeiture of the right of the state to prosecute the offender after the lapse of a certain time. Sa prescription of crime, bawat crime po ay mayroong certain period or limited time na kailangan para mag-file ng kaso ang victim, offended party, or the state against kay offender. Kung hindi po sila nag-file ng kaso within that certain period of time, the crime is already prescribed. Ibig sabihin, expired or lapsed na ang time allotted na kailangan para mag-file ng case against kay offender. Ang time of prescription ng mga felonies punishable by death, reclusion perpetua at reclusion temporal ay 20 years. Ang felonies naman punishable by other afflictive penalties such as the prison mayor ay 15 years. Ang correctional penalty naman except the arresto mayor, halimbawa, prison correctional ay 10 years. Ang felonies naman punishable by arresto mayor are 5 years. Ang libel and other similar offenses will prescribe in 1 year. Ang oral defamation at slander by deed will prescribe in 6 months at ang light felonies naman will prescribe in 2 months. Ang period of prescription of crime ay magsisimula sa day of discovery sa crime na ginawa ng offender by the offended party, authorities, or the agent. At may interrupt po ito kapag may maipile na kaso against kay offender. So kahit na magtago si offender, kapag may na-file na kaso against sa kanya at lumabas siya ng 20 years, huhulihin pa rin siya kasi hindi nag-start yung running period ng kanyang prescription of crime. At kapag na-terminate ang proceedings without the accused being convicted or acquitted, or unjustifiably stop yung proceedings for any reasons, itutuloy ulit ang running period ng prescription of crime. At take note din na kapag wala si offender dito sa Pilipinas, hindi tatakbo ang running period of the prescription of crime. Next, ang isa pa pang way para ma-total extinguish ang criminal liability ng offender ay ang prescription of penalty. Kapag sinabi po nating prescription of penalty, this is the loss or forfeiture of the right of the state to execute the final sentence against kay offender after the lapse of a certain time. Dito po sa prescription of penalty, kailangan si offender ay convicted na by final judgment at sinimulan na niyang iserve ang kanyang service of sentence. And then tumakas po siya. Kapag hindi po siya mahuli within a certain period of time, his penalty will prescribe. Ibig sabihin, after that lapse of a certain time na hindi po siya mahuli, magiging free na po siya kasi extinguish niya ang kanyang criminal liability. Kapag ang penalty ng offender ay death at reclusion perpetua, the prescriptive period is 20 years. Kapag naman ang penalty ng offender ay other afflictive penalties, halimbawa, reclusion temporal at prison mayor, it will prescribe for 15 years. Kapag correctional penalties naman, except the arresto mayor, halimbawa, prison correctional, this will prescribe for 10 years. Kapag arresto mayor naman, it will prescribe for 5 years years at kapag light penalties, it will prescribe for 1 year. Ang running period ng prescription of penalty ay pwede pong ma-interrupt kapag nahuli po si offender or sumuko na po siya or kapag pumunta siya sa ibang bansa na walang extradition treaty ang Pilipinas. Ang ibig sabihin po ng extradition treaty ay ito po yung treaty ng Pilipinas between other countries na kapag may nag-commit ng crime dito sa Pilipinas at pumunta siya sa ibang bansa, pwede pong mag-request ang Pilipinas sa ibang bansa na yan na hulihin ang offender at ibalik po siya dito sa Pilipinas. Halimbawa po niyan ay ang case ni Alice Go. Si Alice Go po ay liable sa Philippine laws at pumunta po siya sa Indonesia. Pero nag-request po ang Pilipinas sa Indonesian authorities na hulihin si Alice Go at ibalik po siya dito sa Pilipinas. Another way po para ma-interrupt po ang running period ng prescription of penalty is kapag nag-commit ng crime yung offender na tumakas bago mag-expire ang kanyang period of prescription of penalty. And lastly, the acceptance of the offender ng conditional pardon also interrupts the running period ng prescription of penalty. Next, pag-usapan naman natin ang mga iba't ibang partial extinction of criminal liability. Ang una po ay ang conditional pardon. Ang conditional pardon po is granted by the President of the Philippines with certain conditions na kailangan sundin ni offender po at ibinibigay po ito pagkatapos ng rendition of the final judgment. Ang next po ay ang commutation of sentence. Ito naman po yung power ni President to reduce the degree of penalty ng offender imposed by the court or by decreasing the length of imprisonment or a fine. Kapag sinabi nating degree of penalty, ito yung kabuuan ng isang penalty. Halimbawa po sa prison mayor, yung kabuuan ng prison mayor ay isang degree of penalty. Kapag ang offender po ay nag-grant ng commutation of sentence at ang kanyang penalty ay prison mayor, pwedeng maging prison correctional ang kanyang penalty. Ang next partial extinction ng ating criminal liability ay ang parole po. Ang parole po is the suspension of the sentence of the person deprived of liberty after serving the minimum term of indeterminate sentence without granting him pardon, prescribing the terms upon which the sentence shall be suspended. Kapag sinabi po natin indeterminate sentence, ito po yung penalty ng offender na walang exact or fixed duration. Halimbawa, 8 years and 1 day to 12 years po. At ang batas po natin sa indeterminate sentence at parole ay ang Act number 4103 at tinatawag po natin itong ISLAW or the Indeterminate Sentence Law. Ang parole po is granted by the Board of Pardon and Parole sa mga eligible PDL based sa individual progress and response sa correctional institution at ipagpapatuloy nila ang kanilang remainder of sentence sa community provided with necessary control and guidance. Ang next po ay ang Good Conduct Time Allowance or GCTA na matatagpuan sa Article 97 of the RPC as amended by Republic Act 10592. Ito po ay applicable both sa mga detainee undergoing preventive imprisonment at sa mga person deprived of liberty convicted by final judgment, na kung saan kapag nagpapakabait sila at sumusunod sila sa rules sa kulungan, mababawasan ang kanilang service of sentence. During their first to second years, pwedeng mabawasan ng 20 days each month ang kanilang sentensya. Kapag 3 to 5 years na sila, pwedeng 23 days each month ang ibabawas sa kanilang sentensya. At kapag 6 to 10 years, pwedeng 25 days each month ang ibabawas. At kapag 11 years and above, pwedeng 30 days each month ang ibabawas na sa kanilang sentensya. In addition sa mga person deprived of liberty or those who convicted by final judgment, meron silang tinatawag na time allowance for study, teaching, or mentoring. Pwedeng mabawasan ng additional 15 days each month ang kanilang sentensya each time na nag-render sila ng study, teaching, or mentoring service. Aside sa good conduct time allowance, meron din tayong tinatawag na special time allowance for loyalty. Ito naman yung pagdeduct ng 1/5 sa mga sentensya ng person deprived of liberty na pagkatapos silang tumakas sa kulungan because of the conflagration, calamity, or catastrophe in accordance with the Article 158 of the Revised Penal Code, ay bumalik sila sa kulungan following the proclamation of the passing away of that calamity, catastrophe, or conflagration. Pero kapag hindi sila tumakas sa kulungan at nananatili sila sa penitentiary, 2/5 ang ibabawas sa kanilang sentensya. Both na ang GCTA at Special Time Allowance, ang granting authority ay ang Director of the Bucor or the Chief of the Bureau of Jail Management Penology o yung mga warden ng provincial, city, municipal at district jail. At dyan po nagtatapos ang ating lesson ngayon. Abangan niyo po ang part 3 ng ating video discussion which is Criminal Law Book 1 based on Criminology New TOS kasi i-discuss po natin ang last part ng TOS ng subject na ito which is these circumstances affecting criminal liability. Kung may katanungan po kayo, comment or suggestion, just feel free to comment it down below. See you on my next videos. God bless you.